What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Where Does Food? A food history podcast that tells you the history of food. I'm one of your food not historians, Elle.
And I'm your other not historian, Tim. We're not historians. We are kind of okay at Googling.
That's a good way, yeah.
Yeah, and we put them into notes so you don't have to. That's our new tagline.
I like that. Throw that on a t-shirt, like we always say.
Yeah, the longest t-shirt known to mankind. It's just a wall of text.
It reminds me of that, I guess it's a meme now, but it's that old photo of the Browns football jersey, and it just has a list of all of their quarterbacks. And then someone just it's just really brilliant. Google it.
Yeah,
it's
good.
good. It's really fun. So, Tim, today we're taking on the one, the only. I'm talking turkey time. Tim. Today we're talking about Thanksgiving.
Turkey time.
So what do you think when I say Thanksgiving meal?
Let's see, man. You know, we got obviously the turkey.
Obviously.
Hence why we just called it turkey time.
That's true. Wow.
No, man. But I'm thinking of the turkey. I'm thinking of the sweet potato casserole, the pumpkin pie, the green bean casserole, mac and cheese, the stuffing and or dressing, whatever you call it. I'm thinking of cranberries. There's a lot of cranberry sauce going through my brain. You've had my cranberry sauce before. It's delicious.
And I gotta say, I don't like cranberries like that, but man, I did like that cranberry sauce, Tim. Fire.
Yeah. It's I'm thinking of those things, and also because you've celebrated Thanksgiving with me a couple times, I think of friends along with family.
Absolutely.
I've thrown a Friendsgiving
successfully.
I would say almost ever since I moved out of the house. Most of my Thanksgivings since then have been Friendsgivings because it costs money to travel back to through multiple states.
Yeah,
that's what I think of. I think of all those things, and then I think of friends and family because I do a lot of potlucks.
That's awesome. Yes, absolutely. So this episode, it's going to go a little differently than some of the ones that are past. If you're familiar with our previous seasons of Where Does Food?
Yeah.
Let me clarify that. Yeah. So we're gonna pretty much be talking about the components of a Thanksgiving meal, a pretty stereotypical modern day Thanksgiving meal, I might add. But we're definitely gonna take a deeper dive into all these components. And if you think we missed any, you can just add us at Where Does Food on Twitter.
Always be plugged.
We can maybe go over them, but you can at least let us know. Or just tell us if there's fun things that you add to your Thanksgiving menu. So it's been 401 years since the quote unquote first Thanksgiving that happened on North American soil. So out of 401, Tim, what do you give a Thanksgiving meal out of?
Oh,
could you
man.
even? I mean, let's see.
Sheesh. This is how do I
don't know.
Man, I
wouldn't want to have your job today, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. We'll give it a nice 400 out of 401.
Okay. I'm
going to give you this right now. You can only fuck it up pretty much. That
right,
1 point
okay.
is pretty much guaranteed. There's got to be some suspense for our fake hook
it might
for
drop
the show. So if you can throw some racist people in there or something, I don't know. Anything that you can think of to ruin Thanksgiving for me, that'd be awesome. But until then, it's that 1 point is just for the suspense of the show, just so you know.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's see. I'm I don't know. I might throw you that back.
Hey guys, welcome to the ad section. I'm here to tell you real quick about Anchor by Spotify. You may have heard us talk about Anchor at the end of our episodes, is because Anchor is the platform we use to distribute our podcasts. It's totally free. It helps us distribute our podcasts to different platforms. That's how we're on Apple Podcasts. That's how we're on Google Podcasts, CastBox, you name it. They've helped us do that. You can record directly on the app, on the webpage, so you don't even need a super fancy setup. It's super straightforward, totally free. So download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started on your podcast or whatever you like to do. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the episode.
Hockey for the girls and turkey for the boys. My favorite kind of pants are corduroys. Gobble, gobble, goo, and gobble, gobble, giggle.
Let's start off with some context, because I love to give context. The origins of Thanksgiving dinner. So what we consider the background on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is based on a festival shared by the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag Native American tribe at Plymouth Colony, Massachusetts in 1621. Yeah, 1621. The date of Thanksgiving properly corresponded with the end of the autumn harvest and not necessarily the end of November as we do now. Tim mentioned this in last episode. So Abraham Lincoln is credited for making Thanksgiving a national holiday in 1863 after Sarah Josepha Hale, who was mentioned in the chicken episode, convinced the alleged vampire President Lincoln that a Thanksgiving celebration would unify the country post-Civil War. In 1941, Congress officially...
Hold on.
Oh, yes. Yes, Tim.
Hold on. I like that in the Where Does Food world, Abraham Lincoln is just a vampire.
I saw the autobiography. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
He literally
Continue.
kills... Okay.
He kills vampires.
I saw it in history class, I swear.
That's canon in our world, so get with it.
Thank you for seeking that out. I appreciate that. So yeah, vampire President Lincoln. In 1941, Congress officially decreed that Thanksgiving would be celebrated on typically the last Thursday of November. So we do this because of Congress. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it now. But there's more proof that the original meat of Thanksgiving was fowl, geese, or ducks, and deer, not turkey.
Oh, shit.
What? I know. That blew my mind. There's also more uses for seafood because of how plentiful it was. Colonists would serve mussels with cheese curds.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about that. Mussels were abundant in New England.
I don't know.
Like, I wasn't trying to knock it. I wasn't trying to knock it, but like, I don't want to. I wouldn't.
Yeah, because you're nicer than I am.
Like, I wouldn't put it off the menu.
That's the established. Yeah. Listen. I'll say it. She won't say it. I'll say it. If you eat cheese curds, like cheddar cheese curds with mussels, you're a fucking disgusting human.
I'm gonna think you're a little weird, dude.
You're an absolute colonial peasant. You fucking pigeon. Don't ever do that. That's disgusting. So.
Yeah, like. I know there wasn't like that many food options then, but like even that probably would not be my go-to meal. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, people like to.
Yeah, listen. If they want to do it back then, that's fine. I'm just saying, if you do that now and today, and you're a fucking peasant. So
the stress levels are high on that individual for sure.
You have all the food nowadays, so like there's no reason you should be doing that.
Only put cheese curds with
ordeal.
Poutine.
Yeah,
that's it.
Terrible.
That's it. Like, there's no other reason why.
Yeah. Or just eating them fried by themselves.
Yeah, that also works too. There's so many other options.
Thanks, Culver's.
But we can't forget about dessert because they still had to have dessert back in the day. So they had a pumpkin pie, but it wasn't really a pumpkin pie. So essentially, they would hollow out the pumpkins. They would fill the shells with milk, honey, and spices to make a custard, and then they would roast the gourds in hot ashes. Which I have seen hot ash technique. I think it's brilliant. I think it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I mentioned that very briefly in the pumpkin pie episode. Go listen to that. Yeah, the reason why I actually didn't extrapolate on it because there is, and I should have mentioned in the episode. I don't know why I didn't. There's actually a bit of that definitely happened, but there's this contingency on the colonists not having ovens, which is just abhorrently false.
What?
Colonists
really?
for sure. Yeah, colonists for sure had ovens, but that still doesn't take away from the fact that they didn't do a traditional pumpkin pie. But yeah, there's just like whole thing. There was this whole thing that like they did it that way because ovens weren't like no, ovens totally existed at the time, and there's no reason to think that you're making shit in ovens in Europe and you come to the Americas and you don't know how to make a brick oven.
I was about to say, are people just are they just being like, oh, like a gas stove range, which like obviously there's not.
Obviously
right?
not. No, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting I didn't mention that in the last. It's interesting I didn't mention that in the last episode. But I remember when I was researching the different varieties. Yeah, it was. I kind of got a couple of different, because history is just one of those things. Sometimes you don't have like hard
Yes.
evidence on something, so it was one of those things where it's like they did this because ovens weren't available, and then other historians and food historians be like, well, no, they probably just didn't have like that recipe yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but yeah, they did in fact
Interesting.
hollow out pumpkins and just put them on a fucking coal pit with custard-like
Delicious.
fillings.
I bet it wasn't too. I mean, again, considering they didn't have sugar, so like it probably like.
Yeah. How much honey did they have? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, how much honey did they actually have?
Not. Yeah, definitely not the amount that we could just like pick off a shelf. That's for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, the little plastic bear guy didn't exist at the time, so.
What? Grocery stores? Why didn't they just use a grocery store? That's so strange.
Yeah.
No.
Why didn't they just go to the grocery store?
That's so weird. No. So as Thanksgiving became an official American holiday, a national mythology formed around it, right? So 1841, a collection of pilgrim writings had referred to the meal described by Winslow as the first Thanksgiving. Although Winslow didn't specifically mention turkey, his fellow colonist William Bradford did refer to a great store of wild turkeys at Plymouth that fall, in a journal that was reprinted in 1856. Before long, the cultural links between pilgrims, turkeys, Thanksgiving became wow, I'm not even gonna try. It pretty much just became part of the lore and the myth that is Thanksgiving. Because like I remember being in elementary school and we had a Thanksgiving Day meal, and they handed out hats for us to wear, and like half of the kids in the class were quote unquote pilgrims, and then the other half were quote unquote Native Americans. And then we had like a big like potluck situation. I do remember that. I don't know if you had anything similar to that.
Yeah. We also did the hand turkeys.
Oh yeah.
We did that whole thing.
So how about now, you asked him? Thanksgiving now. It's an American holiday, so like don't forget that part, you guys. People don't really like celebrate Thanksgiving like that, or like they might.
Whoa.
They might do like yes.
America is the world.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, I don't
we
know.
are the world. You're right.
Yeah,
no, you're
I don't
right.
know what you're fucking getting
That
at.
was my bad.
Everything that happens in this country is exactly what happens in the world. So
I forgot. You're right. Oh man. Okay. So the world. It's a world. It's a world holiday.
it's a global.
It's a global
no, it is an
holiday.
American holiday,
I'm
which is something that we do forget.
Yeah. No. I mean, definitely growing up, I thought that everyone just celebrated Thanksgiving because I just assumed that everyone just celebrated all the holidays, which is not apparently true. Which whatever. So Tim, you pretty much hit the nail on the head, though. It's turkey, mashed or baked potatoes, stuffing or dressing, however you describe it in your region of the country. You got cranberry sauce, canned cranberry sauce as well. Can't forget about that. You got your green bean casserole, your sweet potato pie / yams, however you take your veggies.
He's got the yams.
Gravy, rolls, some sort of pie, and then definitely mac and cheese. We kind of briefly talked about mac and cheese though, so we won't really go into mac and cheese as much, but we're definitely going to go.
No, that's not.
Yeah. We're definitely going into the other ones. And let's go big first. We're going to talk about our centerpiece of the table. We're going to talk about turkey. Let's talk about turkey.
Let's do it.
So yeah, again, shocked that wasn't the first thing that we consumed. Hey, the more you know. So by the turn of the 19th century, because of the turkey's ability to feed a whole family, the 10 million plus turkeys available in the country, and the utility of turkey on farms, as turkeys were raised strictly for their meat, made them the ideal candidate for the Thanksgiving centerpiece. Boom. They liked it because it fed a lot of people and it was efficient for the
Right.
farm. We love that. Sarah Josepha
Yeah.
Hale. Hey, you remember her from like the first paragraph? She played a super important role in this. In her 1827 novel Northwood, she devoted an entire chapter to a description of a New England Thanksgiving, with a roasted turkey, quote unquote, placed at the end of the table.
Also, just real quick, the novel Northwood is an anti-slavery novel. It needs to be noted that the novel
Tim.
is like about not having slaves, and she was in the middle of it. She's just like, real quick though, let me tell you about this thing we do in the Northeast. it's absolutely goated. She's writing about turkey
She said,
and
I
shit.
got you.
So,
Yeah,
you know.
no, she's pretty great. And again, she campaigned. She thought that if Thanksgiving was declared a national holiday, it would help people come together as Civil War was kind of coming to an end. And then, of course, when Abraham Lincoln was like, "Yes, this is going to be a thing. This is going to be a national holiday." Also, she wrote "Mary Had a Little Lamb." I just want to point that out.
Oh, shit. Talented.
She's
She's fucking talented.
talented.
What a talent.
Talented. She's got a brain on that one.
Yeah.
But if we're talking turkey, you got to talk about stuffing and the gravy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The idea of stuffing. Tom, do you like stuffing? Let's just talk.
Oh,
Let's back up.
buddy.
Do you like stuffing?
Buddy. Stuffing. Okay. Dressing.
Dressing.
I just feel like if it's not being stuffed in the turkey these days, which I just don't think it
I don't think people.
happens.
Yeah, I don't think people do like that anymore. I'll be real with you.
Like I don't make it that way. Here's what I do. I'm going to walk you through my steps.
I'm curious.
So, I go to the Kroger and I do call it the Kroger like I'm an old person. I don't just call it Kroger. I call it the
Not
Kroger.
Kroger's.
Not Kroger's, that makes me want to stab a child. Just put an S on the back of Kroger. Disgusting.
No children were harmed in the making of this episode.
No children. I'm kidding.
Kind of.
God, no one can joke about stabbing children anymore.
People are so soft these days.
So our good buddies over at Martin's Potato Rolls, Martin's Bakery, friend of the podcast, not a sponsor.
Not yet.
They should be.
They should be.
I promote them so much; it's unreal. But they make their little dehydrated breadcrumbs, not breadcrumbs, but bread pieces, right? Because like if you want to do dressing, you cut up some bread, you put it in the oven, you like stale it, make it stale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Martin sells some of their potato bread already cut up, ready to go.
Ooh, okay, that's clutch.
So I take that. I take some of the turkey stock I have left over from cooking.
Delicious. The way to do
you
it.
know.
Always cook the
I
stock.
cut up some celery. You know what I mean? I put
some
some
Trinity
of those,
action going on.
I put some of those. I put some of those herbs, some garlic, some onion. I put all that. You know, I toss that all in there. Put a little bit of the drippings, or a little bit of drippings on there. A little toss, and I right back into the oven, buddy, and I let that roast off, and it's delicious.
Delicious. Holy shit.
You
That
know?
sounds fire.
Martin's potato bread with some of that gorgeous, flavor from the turkey, and then some extra herbs and celery and stuff. It's awesome. Yeah, I love dressing. It's fantastic.
That sounds so good. And I'm actually glad you mentioned your base because I didn't realize, but the base can sometimes vary depending on like where you're cooking from. So stuffing is kind of more of a modern marvel. We kind of make an assumption that the first Thanksgiving meal was served with wild rice. Like that was probably the quote unquote stuffing that we could say. As the years went on, New Englanders added chestnuts. Bostonians made oyster based recipes because like of course they did. And people in the South would use cornbread as a base.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, delicious. Types of gravy, and then what gravy in the United States could be completely different than like say in Italian culture, food culture, French, Indian, like et cetera, et cetera. So to clarify, like this type of gravy that most people would put on like a Thanksgiving Day meal is like the white gravy, or it's like a cream gravy. So it's based on the bechamel sauce. We talked about this briefly in an episode beforehand, but it's cooked with roux, made of meat and usually meat drippings and flour. Milk is typically added and thickened by roux, and then once you've got that done, got some pepper.
Yeah, use your turkey drippings to make turkey gravy. That's the best way to do it.
So good.
For like Thanksgiving, essentially. Just make a nice light turkey gravy. A turkey gravy. You just take those drippings. Yeah, little flour, equal parts flour, butter. You know what I mean?
Oof.
Throw your milk, get that cooking up. You got your bechamel going. Throw your drippings in there. Yada yada yada. Thicken that up over some heat. Pull it
Sounds
off.
so
There you
good.
go. It's so easy. And you don't you salt, you pepper it at the end, and there's not much else you have to do because those drippings are so goddamn flavorful. Like it's you've got
Cook
all
with
the
your drippings.
yeah, you got all the poultry herbs from your turkey. You got the butter that you've been cooking with your turkey. And you got the fat off the actual rendering off the turkey as well. What the fuck else?
That
do you need?
sounds
It's
so good.
fantastic. So it's one of the easiest fucking gravies in the world to make, and it's just phenomenal. So
And then
do that.
And then it's like All right, Tim. What if you don't, and what if you're just not going to do that? Well, if you came around in the 1950 to 1960s, that's when convenience again was key. We've talked about it around this time, and especially in the United States and the way our food history goes. So ads for instant gravy started popping up, and companies' patents for gravy mixes finally started slowing down in the 1980s. So for about 30 years, companies were just popping out instant gravy mixes left and right, and then finally it chilled out. But yeah, people weren't really making gravy from scratch like that anymore.
Yeah, then they had to and then a lot of those recipes probably had MSG in it.
You got it.
MSG got a bad rap, and they took all the MSG out of them.
You got it. MSG was the biggest
mistake,
thing,
buddy. Yep. Big mistake.
It was like McCormick brands used to sell it was like the most popular one, and it had MSG in it, and now there's no more MSG in it anywhere near it. Tim, you know what else goes well with gravy? Potatoes. It is believed.
When in doubt, potatoes.
Always potato. That's also going on a t-shirt. It's believed that baked potatoes originated from Peru. The Inca Indians were said to be the first people to originally cultivate potatoes. So I appreciate them.
Oh, damn.
Shout out to them. Wouldn't be here without them because I love potatoes so much.
Yeah, big facts.
Big facts. So I appreciate them for that. Louisa May Alcott, the woman who wrote Little Women, she once said, "Money is the root of all evil. And yet it is such a useful root that we cannot get on without it any more than we can without potatoes." So it's like money and potatoes. That's what make the world go round. And it's like, I believe that. Potatoes are incredibly versatile. Love them. I love them so much. Haters can really suck it because they're an all-time top vegetable. That's right.
They are a vegetable.
They're a vegetable. Yeah. Suck it.
Yeah.
Just suck it.
Yeah, they have tons of potassium in them. More than bananas. Yeah, they're good. They're good for you.
They're really good.
Eat them. Eat potatoes. Eat potatoes. And let me. You know what? If there's anybody in the world telling you not to eat potatoes,
they're
hack.
Don't trust them.
Don't
trust them.
Don't trust
them. They don't know
them.
what they're talking about.
They're hack. Yeah, they don't. Fuck them. Especially if you don't have any reason not to eat potatoes. Like if you're not allergic or you don't need a special diet because of a dietitian and doctor recommending one, and it's just some hack on the internet telling you that potatoes aren't good for you. Fuck them, dude.
Don't eat it. You don't need it.
Fuck them. Go eat a fucking potato.
Go eat potatoes.
Eat bread. Be normal.
Your body will appreciate it. Please go do that. Potatoes. They're a vegetable. Have at it.
Eat them. They're delicious.
So potatoes have been introduced to the United States a handful of times through the 1600s, but they weren't really widely grown for almost a century until 1719 when they were planted in Londonderry, New Hampshire, by Scotch-Irish immigrants. That's cool. Up. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Modern day mashed potatoes first appeared in The Art of Cookery by Hannah Glass in the 18th century. Others say it was Antoine Parmentier, a Frenchman who mashed potatoes with dairy in the late 1700s and won a contest for them. So, origin wars, we always love that. I also want to note that apparently England refers to baked potatoes as jacket potatoes, but I really need someone to confirm that. I saw it on the internet, but I need someone to confirm that for me that actually lives there. I need is this a good fun fact or is this not a true fun fact?
Confirm that for us, and then go to the entirety of England and tell them to not call it that ever again. That is just
weird.
Why do you have to make a fucking what?
It's just a really England thing to do, you know?
It's the most English thing. We love you, England. We love you.
Good old big bros.
I'm not gonna shit on your weird naming convention, but it's just weird that why wouldn't you just call it mashed potatoes?
It's a bit strange because it's for the baked potato, and it's I'm
oh, baked potato.
But it's still okay. Let me pose this question to you, Tim. Hey Tim, do you eat the skin on your baked potatoes, or do you eat the? Hey Tim, do you eat the jacket on your potatoes? That sounds a little strange now, doesn't it?
That's yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. What the yeah. You know where they do have us beat though? They call it toasted cheese, and we call it grilled cheese. And toasted cheese is
toasted cheese is fun. I feel like it sounds sophisticated. Also, I would like a toasted cheese, please.
And you're not, and no one's grilling grilled cheese.
You're panini smashing a grilled cheese. But your toasted cheese.
You're putting it on a pan to toast it. You know what I mean? So I like the toasted cheese is much more accurate. But jacket potatoes, that's just fucking stupid.
We should open a place called Toasted Cheese.
I'm pretty sure that there's 1,000.
Yeah, but we
grilled
won't.
cheese
We
places
won't.
that-
Yeah, no, we
that
don't have
have,
to do
like,
grilled
a
cheese.
name that's-
Just dude, I just like the name.
Oh, right. Welcome to Toasted Cheese. We sell nothing
Don't
but
sell.
tomato soup. Yeah, it's just tomato soup, not the toasted cheese part.
Anywho, so do you eat the skin on your potatoes or no? Is that something that you do?
Yeah,
I'm.
yeah. If it's made well.
If it's made
sure.
well, yeah, that's the kicker. Like if they actually put love into the skin, like yes, but I'm not like
Right. Like you've got to have the salt and the butter, the pepper. Like it's got to be nice. It's got to be nice on the outside. It can't just be bland.
No.
A lot of people, they bake it. Well, I'm not going to say it, but you get baked potatoes where like it's just kind of baked and it's baked well and it's nice, but all the flavor comes on after the fact, after you've like added your cheese and your butter and salt and pepper and all that on the actual like interior. But you do a little bit of love when you're cooking it. It makes all the difference in the world. Then the skin becomes nice. It's nice.
So nice
to munch on that. So
I want a baked potato now.
yeah.
All right. Anyways, this
I know,
episode's making
yeah.
me hungry, I will say. Thanksgiving originally marked the Pilgrims' first autumn harvest, so the local veggies they learned how to harvest from Native Americans consisted of onions, beans, lettuce, spinach, cabbage, carrots, and perhaps peas. Personally, I'd be okay with the no pea situation because I don't really like peas like that. Corn would have been shucked and turned into cornmeal, which was boiled and pounded into a mush or porridge, and then that was occasionally sweetened with molasses, which I thought was an interesting take.
Buddy, molasses? That's an episode down the pipeline. You don't even know about that. I'm telling you right now, I'm announcing our podcast plans live.
Live breaking news.
Molasses is 150% going to be an episode at some point if we don't fit it into season 4, which we've kind of already planned. We will fit it in as a bonus or episode 1 of season 5, because I mentioned it on pumpkin pie how there was a molasses shortage and they just like didn't make pumpkin pies because they were like, nope, can't do it. Like molasses, man, heavily used.
I can't wait
used.
to okay, yeah.
Yeah, we got to do it.
So now, we're talking about it now. So now you can get your veggies any way you want. You want them steamed, roasted, air fried. It's literally however you want to do. You can even do a casserole, which is where we've got our green bean casserole, which is really just like the everyman. It's like the guys in the trenches. Just the one, like your offensive and the line. You know what I'm saying? Like just they're in there, they're doing the work. You're not going to say anything about it. So the dish was created by Campbell's employee, Dorcas Riley, in 1955. Yeah, that Campbell's soup. Yeah, very fun. So they mixed the Campbell's cream of mushroom soup with frozen veggies.
Big facts.
Yeah, big facts. They added some fried onions for texture and color, threw it in the oven, and what do you know? Boom, the GBC.
Wait, you're telling me that the OG green bean casserole was just like how it's made?
Quite, yeah.
That's just like...
That's it.
Whoa!
Super simple.
That's wild.
My guy was definitely tasting the product. He was like, this would actually be really good if I... Yeah.
That's really phenomenal.
I thought it was
that
really cool.
The first version of it is borderline just how it's... I think like people add cheese now, but
interesting. Okay.
That, like, who gives a fuck? Like, that is pretty much the exact thing that most people do. It's fucking Campbell's cream of mushroom, frozen green beans, and fucking the French's onion on
Throw
top.
that shit in there. Boom. Yeah.
That's wild,
it's wild.
man.
And I was like,
holy shit.
It's like you said, like it's so, like you said, it's like a very simple thing. And it's like, oh yeah, like this is how we've always made this. And it's like, oh wait, that's because that's quite literally what the recipe is. It's not even like some, like you said, like these cookery books.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh yeah, some person that worked in the company that was familiar with flavor profiles was like, oh, let me try this. And it worked out.
Yeah. Well, like most of the time, we talk about the convenience factor. And so most of the time, a lot of the stuff we make now is drastically changed during that time period. But this was made during that
exactly.
time. So it's just like it is exactly what it was made. Yeah, that's fucking awesome. That's wild.
And it's like, I think to your point, like it's such a green bean casserole is such an easy dish to like bring because it's literally 4 things. that you're having to do. Throw
So
in the oven,
easy.
and it's like,
Yeah.
I made this casserole. Like, boom.
Yeah, and you can do
know, some rice
you can
in
do,
there.
like the way I typically do green bean casserole is I take some of the there's so much turkey dripping. So I take some of the turkey gravy that I make, like cuz I make a pretty good amount. I take some of that turkey gravy I make after sweating out some mushrooms, and I sweat out some mushrooms and I pour that turkey gravy into that
Oof. Okay.
the sweated out mushrooms, and I scrape up the fond of the mushrooms on the bottom. That way it's like mixed into the gravy, right? So you get like a mushroom turkey gravy. I put that on green beans, and then for the crispy onion top, instead of buying it, you just fry up some shallots.
Oh, I like
Throw
that
those
touch.
throw those on top. Yeah, throw those on top. That's what I typically do with mine. So it's like small little,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Small little upgrades. Instead of buying like a canned cream of mushroom, I want to sweat down some mushrooms, get some of that like heartier mushroom flavor coming through.
That's awesome.
Just small little stuff. Recommend 10 out of 10.
Definitely recommend that. So I'm like honestly, green bean casserole, it's definitely like a hit or miss for me. It's definitely one of those foods. I say this all the time, but it's like how it's prepared. Like I know it's a cop out, but it really is.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh yeah, to your point, like it's so simple that people start adding their own little riffs to it. And sometimes it's like, oh wait, this was really good. And sometimes it was like, why did you do this? Like why did you do this? No one asked you to do this. It was just 4 things. You could have
Yeah.
just like it could have been edible.
Yeah.
So it's
Pretty much.
definitely hit or miss for me, but I would I like your green bean casserole. Fire. But speaking of fire side, let's talk about some
Yeah.
cranberry sauce, Tim.
Hell yeah. Cranberry sauce, another really overly easy thing to make.
Yeah.
Truly.
So we're taking this. There's 2 sides to the cranberry, which like a sentence I thought I would never utter. So cranberries, like in and of itself, didn't really show up till about 1670s. Sugar reserves weren't really a thing by the first Thanksgiving. Like sugar wasn't like any sugar that
Yeah.
it was already gone by that point. Because again, they were traveling across the ocean, and obviously they hadn't at that point. If it hadn't been planted and it wasn't ready by the fall, like it's just they weren't gonna have it. They didn't have sugar, so it wasn't necessarily like in the first Thanksgiving meal, but. It is said that Native Americans were the first to cultivate and have a recipe that consisted of cranberry, some sort of sugar, and water. Makes sense. The cookbook American Cookery by Amelia Simmons, 1786, is said to have the quote-unquote official recipe for cranberry sauce. But like, it sounds like the Native Americans had it pretty wrapped up,
the
right?
American Cookery Cookbook. The American Cookery Cookbook is just a reference to when recipes were like put down in a book. It's not when a lot of the shit was made. Like we were eating pumpkin pie before then, but that's when pumpkin pie was like written down in America, was American Cookery.
You've definitely like noted that before in a
Yeah.
but this
Yeah.
is definitely that. But yeah, how it's like this,
Yeah, the American
the
Cookery
official time.
Cookbook is a lot like the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. It's just it is a staple of a book with a ton of recipes and sometimes just like the first versions of things that is recognizable to us as a modern society.
Absolutely.
So.
Speaking of modern society, so at this point, cranberries again, like it's definitely not now where we're growing fruits in labs and then so you're able to have whatever fruit any time of the year, any season when they're technically not in season. So cranberries were literally only available for like 2 months out of the year. So it wasn't really something that you could just grab. Preservation wasn't really a thing. But 1912 comes about, and a former lawyer, Marcus L. Uran, quit his job as a lawyer to run a cranberry bog. Now, you're probably like, oh, okay, cool. Dude quit his job to run cranberry. However, Mr. Uran wanted to figure out a way to extend the life of his cranberries since, again, they could only be, 2 months out of the year. So, in 1941, the canned cranberry was available nationwide. So here's looking at you, Ocean Spray. This is actually kind of a wild story. So Mr. Uran is credited for creating the cranberry juice cocktail in 1933. And then he essentially started a co-op to harvest cranberry. So there's like 2 ways that you can like get cranberries. One of them is just by the way you like think of like whenever you're getting crops, so you just like literally like you're bending down and picking them off the plant. Another way to get cranberries is if you guys remember those Ocean Spray commercials that used to run like in the early 2000s and 2010s, and it's just like these 2 dudes in this like field. Well, yeah, that's actually how you harvest, another way to harvest cranberries is just by flooding the field. So the berries rise up from the plant, so you can kind of just scoop them off the top, boom, call it a day. It's like, I think it's called like the wet method. It's pretty like it.
Yeah, a lot of spiders in cranberry bogs.
That's scary.
Did you know that?
No, ew.
Yeah.
Wow. I was about to be like, it sounds like a peaceful ass job, and I'm like, oh gosh, insects? Absolutely not. Like, are they like what kind of spider? Like
terrifying.
Water spiders?
I don't know.
Okay.
Terrifying.
It's like the Tuxedo. I don't know if you guys
know.
ever remember that movie.
And I like spiders, but miss me with that.
Okay, well, I don't like that. Okay, that's scary. That sucks. Wow. Okay, cross that off of the list of relaxing things to go do with my life. Got it.
Yeah.
That sucks. So yeah, he started this cranberry co-op. So it was essentially him, and then he somehow convinced his competitors, John C. Makepeace of the A.D. Makepeace Company, which was the nation's largest grower at the time, and Elizabeth F. Lee of the New Jersey-based Cranberry Products Company to join forces under a co-op, Cranberry Canners, Inc. So after World War II, in 1946, the co-op became the National Cranberry Association, and by 1957, it's changed its name to Ocean Spray. I don't know why I just kicked my hand out. I was super pumped about that. Ocean Spray is still a co-op of 600 independent growers across the United States that work together to set prices and standards of cranberries.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that.
But I'm like,
that's good.
That's wild. Wow. Yeah, I'm for that. So shout out to Mr. Yeah.
Shout out to Ocean Spray. They do it the best.
Yeah, I'm a huge supporter of Ocean Spray now.
No, can we be honest? Like they
Sure.
do it the best.
I don't know. I mean, that's the only brand I've ever. Yeah.
It's the only cranberry juice you've ever consumed.
Yeah, I would say so.
All
Only
right,
one.
well, it's the best. Don't waste your fucking time.
Don't even bother trying anything else. That's the one.
Yeah, you mentioned you don't really like cranberry. I fucking love cranberry.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it. I don't buy cranberry juice because I'll destroy it immediately. I'll just consume it immediately.
Dude.
There's no.
Okay. Yeah. Got a thing of cranberry juice, and definitely just been like taking a swig from the bottle, even though it's not even my bottle like that, and be like, yeah, it's just that. I mean, yeah, I'll give it that. It's good.
I'll destroy it. Yeah.
So this is a bit more on the southern side, but to your point, the candied yams, sweet potatoes, great addition to the Thanksgiving table. And this, I had no idea. So the Boston Cooking School cookbook in 1893 included recipes for glazed sweet potatoes, but there's a bit more to this story. So candied yams / sweet potatoes owe their origin to slaves in the United States that saw similarities that the potatoes had to the yams from their homeland from Africa. So yams are like sweet. Usually they're prepared with some spices, cooked, and then delicious. And sometimes they'll put marshmallows on top. And it's kind of the same idea with the sweet potatoes. If you enjoy those things, it's because it originated from slaves.
Yeah. Sweet potatoes and yams. Which I'm pretty sure those terms are like interchangeable in modern era.
They are.
Yeah.
Because whenever I was doing research, I was like, okay, no, to that, it's now in the modern era, it's essentially, mostly people are just leaning into the sweet potatoes.
Yeah. That's what it's pretty much called these days, outside of just cans of candied yams, that the cans that have that. Yeah. Yeah,
you got it. Also, big friend of the pod, George Washington Carver, he had recipes that helped popularize the dish as well. And then he also thought this was so cool. He also found over 100 uses for the sweet potato, including those that were unrelated to food, such as medicine, paint, and dyes. And those are just like a few of the uses that he found.
Yeah.
But yeah,
George
that's
Washington
so
Carver.
wild to me.
George Washington Carver apparently just was like doing things like all day, just like whatever. Like,
if you needed something to be take it to him. He knew.
Yeah, he knew.
So, Tim, I would say our Thanksgiving meal could use some bread to soak up all this goodness, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I love me a good roll.
Love me a good roll. I'm going to mostly be sticking to the yeast rolls out here.
Sure.
But you can't forget, I feel like a lot of times we got our instant dinner rolls. Like, that's really the thing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the Sister Schubert rolls.
Yeah.
Which are AKA the Parker House rolls.
Mm-hmm. And
I was like, what are those? Okay. So it's the 1970s.
Everyone knows what those are.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Parker.
Why are they so good?
Deliciousness.
Why are they so good?
They're so good.
I don't get it.
So I don't understand. So 1970s Parker House rolls are named after the Boston Parker House Hotel, Legend has it that a disgruntled hotel baker threw a batch of unfinished rolls into the oven after an altercation with a hotel guest. When the rolls came out of the oven, they had a distinct folded pocketbook shape that made them light and puffy on the inside while staying crisp and buttery on the outside.
Yeah.
And then the Sister Shoe rolls, like, they're literally just some sisters from, like, Alabama. And they were like, rolls.
I don't fucking get
Oh my goodness,
why
dude.
they're so good.
I don't
like,
understand
makes-
it. But there's, I can,
Yeah. Gone all day. A little bit of butter on
All
them.
day.
It's fucking
Over.
so stupid how good those fucking
Over.
things are. That's wild how good those things are. Best dinner rolls.
I love, yeah. Can
Really?
definitely just eat like a whole thing of those.
Absolutely goated in a
Yes.
situation where you need dinner rolls.
They're so good. They're so
Yeah.
good. I'm getting even hungry now that we're like, I was getting hungry and then we're talking about these Sister Shoe rolls. I'm like, wow,
I know.
we're gonna have to wrap this up soon.
It's-
No, I'm
I
just
know.
kidding.
It's
But
like when you talk about Olive Garden breadsticks and you're like, fuck.
oh my gosh.
You're like, I don't really give a fuck about Olive Garden, but those breadsticks smack.
But those breadsticks though. Oh my gosh.
They smack, dude.
I like, it's probably a good thing that you can't just like DoorDash Olive Garden like that, or like Uber, whatever, insert your delivery food system here.
Can you not?
Because no, so Olive Garden is one of the few restaurants still where you still have to go to the restaurant to pick up your order.
Right. They do have their little
Yeah.
online thing.
And so it's like, I'm like, good for you guys. You guys haven't caved to that. And it's like, clearly it's fine because people will still, I mean, will go and get the food. But it's like, wow, yeah, I wish I was like more committed because I would probably just order like 4 things of breadstick. Like you get like, I think like 5 or 6 in them. I would definitely order like 4 or 5 bags of breadsticks and be content with my life and not think anything of it.
Yeah, I would die in Olive Garden. Like I would.
Is that your last meal? You go to the Olive Garden?
You could fucking take me out in an Olive Garden. I don't give a fuck. Like fucking.
No, I fuck
put
it.
me-
I fuck with it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
put
no.
me out of my fucking misery in an Olive Garden. I don't give a shit. It's so good, dude. I fucking love Olive Garden. It's just delicious.
Like their salad though, like I don't know why it's so good.
Every-
And I don't ever say that. Like why would you ever say that about a salad at any point in your life? But it's like I love Olive Garden salad. Like I don't know.
Everything about it, dude. Like Olive Garden just does things that like you're like, I don't know, man. I think people sleep on it a little bit.
Is Olive Garden like Vegas?
It's kind of memed,
Like
right?
anything goes?
Olive Garden's a little memed, but I think it's fucking incredible. So
It still slaps. Yeah, no.
go to your fucking nearby Olive Garden, and you will not be sorry. You'll love it. It's fantastic.
Listen, you're not friends there, you're family.
No, yeah, you're family when you're at the fucking garden. So go there.
Vin Diesel?
Yeah, they have a statue of him in every Olive Garden.
It's like the new Chuck E. Cheese, but it's Vin Diesel.
yeah.
It's like an animatronic. Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna
dear
get
God.
sued for that, allegedly.
A fucking animatronic Vin Diesel greeting you at every Olive Garden.
So scary. I would not go in. I'd be like, can we just make it to go, please? We can just make it to go.
Yeah. Yeah, Olive Garden really had something going for them, but then they installed a bunch of animatronic Vin Diesels to greet you at the
So,
door. Really
Just
ruined
says
it.
family every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But Tim, let's not forget about dessert.
Please.
But like I kind of copped out because it's like you can have most types of desserts, but like I did a bias-y on this and I was like pecan pie.
Oh, very southern of you. Very southern
Yeah,
of you.
that's why I
Yeah.
said it was I definitely did a bias pick on that. I know there's a shit ton of other desserts that you can bring to the table that is
Sure, when we're talking about our Thanksgivings, a pecan pie is around during most of them.
has to be. It's not Thanksgiving if it's not there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why would we do like the only other one that's even acceptable would be apple pie because I already talked about pumpkin. So like
Oh yeah.
like the only other one that's acceptable is apple, but like let's be honest, we've all had pumpkin pie or pecan pie a lot more at Thanksgiving than apple in the South at least. Like
Absolutely.
for the most part, it's pumpkin and pecan. And if you got
It's like- yep.
if you got the family, they'll bring the buttermilk. If you got
Oof.
if you got the right family,
Buttermilk.
they'll bring
baby.
the buttermilk pie.
My baby.
That's
It's so
how you
good.
know.
Oh my
That's how
goodness.
you know your family's goated in Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
if
that
they bring the-
buttermilk. Oh my gosh.
if the aunt walks in with a buttermilk pie, says a racial slur and drops the buttermilk on the table, buddy, you know it's good.
If anyone has like a family buttermilk recipe that they're willing to share, please,
Man,
please,
yeah.
I'm dying.
Buttermilk
dying
pies. fantastic. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good. So yeah, buttermilk pie, pecan pie, pumpkin pie, maybe apple.
Yeah, right.
I think that's fair.
And apples, fuck, dude, fucking A, just not even existing in
I
my
don't-
Thanksgiving.
I actually like Dutch apple pies better.
Yeah,
I prefer the
but-
crumble.
But I'll take a
But
pecan
that's it.
or a buttermilk any day of the week.
Yeah.
For Thanksgiving, any day of the week.
For Thanksgiving, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, pecan pie. So pecan pie actually showed up in Texas. Shout out to Tim and Beyonce. Appreciate you guys. And cookbooks in the 1870s and 1880s. Food historians, such as ourselves, make an assumption that harvesting pecans began in September and goes through November, making them a food tied to Thanksgiving. So like that's essentially why. The timing of the harvest, they're ready to go. So yeah, again, shout out Texas. That's something good that came from there.
Yeah,
That's
Texas.
Thanksgiving, Tim.
Texas, we got
Yeah,
pecan
Texas.
pie. We got the hamburger form,
Yes.
the function and the form of hamburger, and we also have Dr. Pepper. So,
Those are pretty solid.
hey, three
Those are
things.
pretty solid.
So, pretty decent. That's Thanksgiving. What a
That's
fun,
Thanksgiving.
what a fun ride. Okay.
There's a lot going on.
A lot going on. My score is 401. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Listen, it was perfect to begin with. Thanksgiving meal is a perfect food. We all fucking know. Especially when I'm the one that has
do.
to rate it, and I'm a sucker for food. I just love most food anyway, so it's just
That's
yeah.
fair. That's a fair
No, that's a
assessment, yeah.
that's a perfect food. That's fun. This was a fun episode, Elle. We did a lot of
Yeah.
we did a lot of fun.
a lot of learning.
Yeah, I think that's fun. A bunch of fun little snippets of things that are components to what we consider the Thanksgiving meal,
Yeah.
and a lot of it weirdly modernized. We had some 50s and 70s going on there. Not to say that
lot of
bread.
it.
Not to say that bread started in the 1970s for Thanksgiving. Bread was definitely around when the first one was going
yes.
on.
Yes.
But
like I said,
that-
just basic yeast rolls for sure.
But the fucking the ones. the ones
the
in
Parker
the
House
tin, the
roll,
ones
buddy.
the ones in the tin container. You know what I mean? They got the little split top.
Schubert roll, boy.
You know the fucking
Wow,
ones. Yeah, you know the ones.
We know. You
no,
know.
that's fantastic work. That's kind of my final thoughts,
you, thank
buddy.
you.
I don't have a lot to. I've been talking
There-
most of this episode with you, so I don't really have a lot of
Good.
extra final thoughts. 401, perfect food for me. Anything else
I'll
from
take
you?
it. Yeah. No, that's it. I appreciate it. I'm pumped.
Well-
Now I'm hungry. I hope you guys are too.
Well, guys.
Hope you enjoy this episode when you and your cousin take your walk before
Yeah.
Thanksgiving meals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, that was Where Does Food Thanksgiving Dinner Edition. All right, we did it. We nailed it. Did you hear that music that just started?
I think so.
Did you
yes.
hear it at the top of the episode? Did you hear it when I transitioned us into an ad that you skipped? Did you hear that? Well, that was made by our buddy and friend of the podcast, Austin Martin, and myself. I did help with this one. And if we're being completely honest, I did most of the work. Okay,
You don't-
I don't. All right, he played
There it is,
played
folks.
some synthy guitar on top of my fucking drum
You
beat,
just threw some chords on
on
top.
top of my bass line. All right, fucking came in and made it 10 times better than I could ever make it. And he takes all the credit that I give him. No, guys, check out Austin Martin. Check out Meridian Sky specifically on Spotify and Apple. He's fantastic. Guys, you can check us out on Twitter at Where Does Food. I'm at Tim Wehunt.
And I'm at El Chapo with 3 underscores in between there, and I will probably not change my username now out of not being able to ever change it back. So here we are.
Yeah, that's us on Twitter. You can check us out there. If that changes, I don't think it will. I think Twitter's going to be fine. I think it's just in a weird spot right now. But if that ever does change and we ever change platforms, we obviously will fucking let you know. Mastodon will not be a thing. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you. No, but you can check us out. You can get in contact with us. Give a shout out, share the show, things like that on Twitter. That's kind of where we're at. You can also go to our website, wheredoesfood.com. We have all of our episodes there.
Just go there.
You can check us out at the main hub, anchor.fm/where-does-food. You can check us out there. That's our main space where you can get our RSS feed. And you can also buy us a coffee, which just means toss us some coins if you feel so delighted to do so. There are no perks that are involved with it. It's just to help out. Consider it like a donation to You're Not Historian. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, we got all that. Also, if you don't want to give us money, which is totally understandable and acceptable, you could
Totally okay.
give us a review and or rate us. It helps
That's a
with
great idea.
most algorithms. Specifically, iTunes is like super impactful, but also like even on Spotify, it's just nice when you click on a podcast and you see that it's kind of well liked and you start to listen and it is genuinely
Nice.
a good show and you're like, oh, right, that's why it's got the rating it does. So yeah, you can do that and that is super, super helpful. That is the end of my shout outs. So enjoy your Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy your week. You know, be pumped. Yeah, good food's right there. Good food, awkward conversation. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Hope
Yeah.
you grow.
Tell your relatives that, you know, you are okay with your career. Okay? and to get off your fucking back about it. Yeah, but either way, that's all I got. Have a good one.